tur day uyu borom jasna pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jasna your number one stop shop. Ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garmi yi ndaxte quality jasna amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi. Ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jasna amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jasna ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi. Makeup artist yi bàyyi ngeen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay makeup product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jasna si 250 01 24 ak quality jasna taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it bégal sa alaaji aas.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Mistress of ceremony, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. All right, that's not cool. Ladies and gentlemen, after all, it's a ladies program. I want to salute Fatou Kamara Jr., the convener of this very special event, and say congratulations for this initiative of creating something that is really worth supporting, a book fair. Now, when you say book fair, you know, my favorite people, the people of Kiang, they respect me a lot because they know I'm highly educated. So, yes, they will not deny it. So one of them said, hey, Momodou Sabally karanta ba sai ko book fair, akata fair bukolela. So I was okay. Hello, no. Niko book fair. O manke fair. Kitabol safaroleng aninka nyose ya nin kitabolula adun kitabo akumaya tale. I want to pay special tribute to IG Studios, who recently did a fantastic event that brought out the best of our youthful, recognizing them and celebrating them. I think one of the greatest events that I've ever witnessed. Why? Because my wife said so, and if my wife said it's good, then it's world class. And that's why I call her my better. Actually, I'm serious. I'm not praising her. If Jane Abatida Sar said something is good, you can take it to Harvard. It will pass the test. So congratulations again, and may Allah bless your work. Why best results is girls. Photo exhibition is girls. Book fair is girls. Don't go work on your joke there. Mr. Jayu, you are the executive director of the National Youth Council, right? That's how you call it. I think it's about we had a national men's conference. The game is being tilted way against our end of the coin. By the way, I don't like this mic very well. Can you hear me if I use my natural voice? Everybody can hear me. Yeah, that's because I also decided all the care of Jawara conference, and then their PA system is fantastic. Bakadaji, I love your hotel, but just work on this one. I'm serious. I don't do. So we're here for a book fair. And I think in an era where virtually nobody is reading books because we are either on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or Benen Binakalabu Obi Lambi, TikTok. In that era, I think any serious nation should embark on a journey to promote the culture of writing and reading of books. Why? Because books are important. You see, even the Tubabs believe it's important, so you better take this seriously. One of my favorite ayat in the Quran is in Surah Al-Nisa. Again, that surah is also named after women. Mr. Ja, you don't need to organize this conference. We will never win against these people. It's theirs for the taking. In the chapter of the Quran called An-Nisa, named after the woman or women as it were, Allah says to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those talking at the door should now keep quiet. Not now, but because now Allah is speaking. What he said, when it's being recited, what should we do? Keep quiet. Somebody said we should shut up. I didn't say it. It's a very big preacher. No, not you. I'm quoting somebody else. But Allah says in the Quran, they are still talking. Now, Fatu, I'm going to wait until they stop talking. After you, Chicago Bulls. I support Miami Heat, by the way. And Allah tells us in the Quran, Inna awhayna ilayka kama awhayna ila Nuhin wan nabiyyina min ba'dihi. Wa awhayna ila Ibrahim wa Ismaila wa Ishaqa wa Yaquba wal asbati wa Isa wa Ayyuba wa Yunus wa Haruna wa Sulaiman wa atayna Dawuda zabura. Allah tells Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have inspired prophets before you, for we have inspired Noah and the prophets after him. We inspired Abraham, Ismail, Isaac, Jacob, the tribes, Jesus, Job, Jonah, Aaron, and Solomon. And Allah said, the way he ends it, وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ زَبُورًا. And we gave to Prophet David what? The Psalms. That's a book, right? The prophets, they came with what? Nuclear technology or the latest ICT gadgets, or what do they come with? What? Instagram. The prophets come with what? God sends them with what? With books. So books are important, and when they come, do they come to entertain us with books? They come to feed our minds and to transform us. Just like God tells us in the Holy Bible, in Romans 12, verse 2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. How do you renew your mind? You have to read books. Sheikh Hamza Yusuf once famously said that the book is what empowers human beings. There is no human society on the face of the earth that was not founded on a book. And that book, no matter what it is, contains stories. Now, did you hear that? Stories. And that's why we should honor and respect our grandmothers. Again, it's grandmother. Why don't our grandfathers tell us stories? Mr. Jai is getting very interesting. It's a woman's world. Let's just acknowledge and accept and bow down to them in respect. He says, any great society on planet Earth was founded on what? A book or books. What is the great Western civilization without the King James Version of the Holy Bible? What is the Arab world, Arabia, and the Muslim world without the Quran? What is Southeast Asia without the Dalailul Khairat? What is Senegal and their great civilization without the legendary Leopold Sédar Senghor? And I mention him as not a man, but a book. For Senghor was not only an author of books, but Senghor was a book. He was the book of Senegal. Now, what is Senegal without Sembène Ousmane, one of the greatest authors, but also movie creators and directors? For Sembène Ousmane was more than a book, he was a library. And if we are to make progress as a nation, we must take the writing and reading of books seriously. If we want to be a serious nation, we must take writing and reading seriously. And those who wants to be authors of those books must know that they are embarking on journeys that are not for the faint-hearted. When I started my career of writing around, okay, that makes me feel old, but some 20 years ago, when I wrote my first book, Jangi Jollof, a memoir on the Gambia's first university program, I was talking to my boss and he told me, I don't know what you're about to do, but you should know that writing is a lonely man's occupation. It's not an easy job. And as much as the new age philosophy tells you that anybody can do anything well, yes, I said it too in my book, Instant Success, 10 Keys to Personal Achievement. But if you want to be a writer, you would have to need to cut out some space from the Ebede, from the Sunday Beach, from the Atayavu, to be alone sometimes and read and read and read good books, because you cannot be a good writer if you don't read well. It's GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. You cannot be a writer and author worth his or her salt if you don't understand the rules of language, and that is grammar. It is important. Now I see university students and graduates, they say, well, the grammar is not important. It's the message you communicate. How do you communicate a message without following the rules? Do you think these things are a joke? It's not a joke. Why do people go to universities to study engineering before they become architects? Because if you don't learn it and apply the rules, those buildings will fall on you. Fool yourself and call yourself an author. You don't understand grammar. One day, your grandchild will tell you, Grandma, what was wrong with you? What were you smoking when you were reading this? So we need to take this vocation seriously, because it is a serious profession. It's not a joke. You write a book today, do you know who's going to read that book? Do you know how far that book is going to go? A young man took pictures of my books, Jangi Jollof and Instant Success, in the streets of Manhattan in New York. He was just passing by, a bookseller was selling somewhere. Took pictures of them and sent them to me. 5 years ago, I was in Liberia. I met a young guy just going to college reading my book, Instant Success. Now, if I don't write something like Kamara Lai, the African Child, or So Long a Letter, at least I want to make sure my book title does not contain errors. Unfortunately, some of our books do. If you are going to be an author, you're going to be a writer, learn the rules. And just when you think you are the best of the best, that's when you need what? An editor. Editor. It is important. They call me the Gambian pen. The Gambia's pen, by the way. I like pronounce it right. The Gambia's pen. But even a sentence on Facebook that I'm about to post, sometimes I double check the meanings of words. It's easier now, man. You just highlight this and right click and you just, come on, don't be lazy. At least not you, the authors, not you, the serious ones who want to make a dent in the surface of this universe. You got to be serious about words because they are important. Recently read on the BBC and they were saying that the first ever piece of information technology invented was the written word. The written word, logos. This is important. This is not a joke. You got to take this seriously. And I think we are fortunate as a nation, the Gambia, that we have young people who are so passionate about this, but they need support. Bakari Baji is not here, but Alaji is here. Tell your Minister of Youth and Sports, to tell the Minister of Education, to tell His Excellency the President that all these budding young authors, they need more support. They need the government to buy these books, education, at least the books that pass the test, because I know they go through a rigorous process before they're approved for the educational system. But sometimes they do all of these efforts, it's approved and then gathers dust. Because if you don't pay the right guy, they don't buy your books. I'm saying that on a hushed tone, then tell them I said that. But the government needs to put in more support for the young people. A nation that reads is a nation with a bright future. A nation that does not read is a nation that is doomed. But for the nation to read, we need material that is relevant and dynamic, material that our young people can connect to. That's what will encourage reading. With all the challenges we have, from Instagram to TikTok to Twitter, we need to encourage the art and habit of reading. Having said that, and cruising onto the kind of material that we're writing for our young people to consume, I think we need to be very careful what we write. Because what these young people are going to read is what is going to determine the kind of lives they are going to live, the kind of adults they are going to be transformed into. And we've become a society where extreme libertarianism is what I'm seeing in this country, and it is not good. Ani bankol men mu kafir oluti. Ma for the kind of kafir ni mu misil moti mu kafir ma for de. Many alon ko malla dino le malla alala. Kube kuto ibuka song ay finti ila banta baluto ila sidulalto ay finti banta katu ku nyawndi ngollem. Je no haram tale. Ni bakela imabo. Ni yake ni parita kana je no ta yake donkiloti wai. Molka jibe on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Media houses come will come and interview that you denkilo ka jeno ta ka nganyala nim banko kan man sakunda be siri nya ba na jamano be kasara la adu nimma stop be kasara la. Sex energy is one of the most powerful weapons ever in the history of mankind, but if it is not controlled and guided and molded by set morals and religious principles, it will destroy an entire society. Balafiri wa tambiri wa keta jamani wo jamani sangala sole kana wale ko jamano kasara gambia be sufiyata o temboleto al mamul be diamu kayya lafa label be diamu kayya lafa bar man sakunda ye lodu la tabang dinding mereng iman sanji mu wan soto ika jeno tay kan nganya lay ka ke donki loti ika tay ka play mo la media houses la amanya na kala nyanta danda ko kan. And I talk about music because some of the music that you consume will naturally filter through the words that you write. I do a lot of writing that's culturally rooted, but that's aided by the beautiful melodious lyrics of Jaliba Kuyate, by the sonorous voice of the late Landing Kintiba, Bemba Sise, the late Alaji Babu Samba. They all feed into my soul to make me the writer that I am trying to be. Now, did you hear that? Did I say I'm a writer? I am trying to be a writer. And if you must be one, a good one, you must embrace the ethos of lifelong learning. Don't ever sit down and think you know it all. I don't care if you have 60,000 followers on Facebook like myself, or maybe 10,000 on Instagram. This is not a competition about likes. It's about the quality of the material you produce, something that you should be proud of 5-10 years from now, something that you should be confident that will not misguide and mislead the young generation that are going to consume this. The great sage Alexandra once said, the strength or weakness of a society depends more on the level of its spiritual life than on its level of industrialization. And he goes on to say that if a nation's spiritual energies have been exhausted, it will not be saved by the most perfect government structure or by any industrial development. We need to nurture spiritual authenticity in this country. We need to build a new generation based on our songs and our preachings and our writings, a new generation that is morally rooted, a new generation that does not become slaves to materialism. All this rush to back way, you think it happens overnight? People consuming images, music, reading books that show you that if you don't have a great Gucci sad or if you don't have the latest Ray-Ban, you are nothing. No, that does not determine your value. Young girl, your value is not determined by that Brazilian hair. No, it's not what's on top of your hair. It's what's inside that head. That makes an IG job. That makes a Fatu Kamara Junior. That makes the next star. You got to cultivate your mind, your spirit. That is where it starts. And we all need to continue speaking. I don't know how many minutes you're giving me. I think I did 11. But I will never ever speak at any event in this country without talking about the natural disaster, the calamity that's affecting the young people of this country, the treacherous, perilous backway journey. Thousands of Gambians perishing at the Mediterranean Sea because they go into Europe to look forward non-existing jobs. Europe is struggling to employ their own youths, to provide proper housing for their own citizens. You think by arriving there, they'll embrace you and give you the streets of gold? No, it doesn't exist. Rome was not built in a day, and we are all going to Rome. I know it's a very difficult journey here to build a new Gambia. I don't even know whether we've started yet. But we must work hard and walk and learn to walk and wait and be patient. Rome was not built in a day. The answer is hitting millions of dollars. Jay-Z, you name them. Who is the next best thing in the music scene? Tell me. I'm old. I'm Buju Bantam School. Give me some. Rima and who? Burna Boy. You think they just made it overnight? No, they slaved this thing for decades. 5-10 years. 8 to 10, 15 hours of practice a day. And then they make it and you think it's a miracle. It's not. وأن ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى وأن سعيه سوف يرى ثم يجزاه الجزاء الأوفى. Man shall have nothing except that which he or she strives for. You got to walk, and not just walk, but walk and wait and be patient. And I am hoping these themes will increasingly be captured in our books, in our short stories, in our poems, the challenges facing our society. The challenge of the back way, youth unemployment, the challenges of fatherless young men and women, the challenge of struggling single mothers who are abandoned by their families and oppressed by their own authorities who are supposed to help them. These need to come out. But that's where the power of fiction comes. Small society, we are all related. If I say something here, Judge will say, Sabally, this thing was saying, Bakari is talking about you. But how about if you write a poem about Jainaba and Fabakari from Kiang and how they oppress each other? I can call out Bakari without mentioning his name. Try it. I'm a non-fiction guy, but I think we still got a lot of work to do in fiction, and it has great potential to transform our souls, our minds, and even our bodies. Monsieur l'écrivateur, in France. The author from Senegal, I want to say welcome and thank you. We're very glad to receive you here in the spirit of Senegambianness. I think we need more of these collaborations. And as a nation, I think we still got a lot to learn from Senegal. Senegal can still learn from us, but these kind of collaborations are most welcome. My sister, Gay Nyoro, thank you for the work you're doing to guide and uplift the young people of this country. Sheikh Professor Dr. Dr. Chernomar Bari. My good friend and brother, I'm always happy to see him at events like this. Because we started this business of book launches some 20 years ago, and he's done a lot of service for Gambians and Gambian authors. Batu Kamara, congratulations, and may God bless you on this journey, and may Allah put barakah in this platform so that we create the next Mariam Abba, the next Leopold Sedar Senghor, for God's sake, the next Lenry Peters. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Ku yoddu sa xat te quality jas na ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom jas na pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jas na your number one stop shop. Ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garme yi ndaxte quality jas na amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi. Ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jas na amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg. Dama ne atum ren ji ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jas na ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi. Makeup artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay makeup product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jas na si 250 01 24 ak quality jas na taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it dëggal sa